Well, hello. Good afternoon, everybody. It is a Friday afternoon here, and I am in my new house. Very exciting. First time broadcasting from my new office here, and I could not be any happier. It's taken me some time to get into this home, and I am thrilled to be sharing it with all of you. So, let's take a little look around. Look at this place. It's awesome. I'm so excited. I got windows. Let's give a little look here. See, there's my desk. And I have a nice open view right there so I can see the kids. And here we are. So, as you can see, I'm sitting here just doing my work at my desk today. But I thought, all these questions keep coming in on my page, and why not answer a few just live? A lot easier for me to talk than for me to type. And I know you guys have questions. So how's everybody doing today? Getting ready for the weekend? I honestly can't believe it's Friday already. It is Friday, right? Yeah, it's Friday. Oh my God. Yeah, this week went so quick. The last couple weeks have been totally crazy for me, as you already know. Between moving and my surgery and all unexpected, it's been kind of nuts, but we've pretty much unpacked a lot of the house, and it's really cool to be kind of getting done with all that. So who's here with us? I see a few people jumped in. Let's see if anybody will be joining us. And you can post some questions today too. I have some that you guys posted on my Facebook page that I'm going to be answering right now. But if you have questions you want me to answer, go ahead and post and I'll be reading them. So why don't we answer a few questions that have been posted. Let's see. I'm going to be looking over the camera here to go over to my wall and see what you guys are. Hi Jennifer. Where's everybody from? Thanks. That's great. I love when you guys post where you guys are from, to see where everybody's coming from when they're on here with me. Jennifer's from Minnesota. Hi Jennifer. And I'm in New Jersey, and it's raining right now, and I'm so happy because it has been so humid. It's like disgustingly humid, and I think that's going to break up some of the heat. Maryland, Illinois, awesome. Is it hot? It's been hot. It's been so hot here. It's been, and like I was like praying that my AC's been working, and it actually is holding up. And I'm thinking, okay, if it's working now, then we're doing pretty good for this summer, hopefully. Okay, awesome. Oklahoma, Pennsylvania. How cool is that? So cool. So let's see. Do we want to start answering some questions? I get so many. Yeah, hot, sticky, gross. I totally agree. I even wanted to go outside. It's been like horrible. It's bad hair weather too. So, all right. So let's try answering a few here. I have a question that came in here. She is, I can't even pronounce her name, Yelamar. Okay, Yelamar asked a question. She has twins, actually. And she asked that she has twins, and since she's been pumping since the beginning and occasionally breastfeeding one of the babies, one of the girls. Her left boob was the super breast, and I'm assuming she means more of the producer, and now the other one is. The problem that she's having is that she's leaking no matter how much she pumps. Sometimes she gets black and blue in the right breast, but then it goes away. Is there anything that she can do? She has a hospital grade pump, and her twins are 4 months old, and she wants to at least make it to 6 months or more, and she starts working in a few weeks. Okay. Well, first of all, what she was describing about having one side producing more than the other, we've talked about this before, where one side can be more of the producer or make more. It can make up to twice as much as the other side, and that's really very, very normal. Not usually much you can do about it. And what she's describing too is that it's kind of going back and forth. That's not typical, but it could be having to do with how much she's pumping on one side or the other. Also, does have twins, so she is making more milk. The thing that I'm most concerned about that she's asking is that she's saying it's a problem that no matter how much she pumps, she continues to leak. And honestly, that's going to continue. If you continue to pump a lot more than what your babies are actually eating, what you're going to essentially do is produce more milk. The breast isn't completely empty. And so it's not like you completely, when you hear people talk about pump till you empty the breast, that's really not very possible, because the breast is constantly making milk. So whether you leak or not, yes, can have something to do with how frequently you're actually feeding or pumping, so that the fuller your breast gets, obviously the more it's going to leak. But for some people, they just leak anyway. And so you're not going to be able to empty the breast. The breast is always making milk. For some people, they never leak. I rarely leaked. I mean, I leaked a little bit in the beginning when I first had my babies and wore some pads and then some lily pads at in the first couple of weeks, but then I didn't leak the rest of the year. And most people do one or the other, and they're either leakers or they're not. So are you a leaker? If you're a leaker, speak up here. Do you leak or do you not leak? Because honestly, not everybody leaks. And so everybody thinks before they have their baby that they're going to be, always wearing pads and they're always leaking. Not necessarily true. Do you leak? Let's see. I'm going to go back here because I see some questions coming in. And so I think that, and the other thing that I want to address too is that she was also talking about being black and blue and bruised. That doesn't sound very good, because if she's actually bruising during pumping, then something's not right. She's either turning the pump up too strong. Yeah, see, people leak. Some people leak, some people don't leak. So yeah, if she's turning the pump up, it sounds like she's either, one, not using the right size flange, and we all know about flange fitting because we've gone over this so many times. And if you haven't, I have a video about getting the right flange sizing, because that could cause some bruising too if you're using the wrong size on your breast. But typically, what I would think that black and blue is being caused from is from turning the pump up too strong. That brings up a whole other point about pumping and the use of like the controls and the settings. And, does the pump need to be really strong, or do you have to turn the suction all the way up in order to get the milk out? And that's actually not how you do it. Milk is not pulled out of the breast, so you're not turning the suction up super, super strong and expecting to get more milk. What you're trying to do is stimulate a letdown, which is actually your body starting to eject the milk from the breast. And that's going to happen with, one, correct sizing of the flange, and two, being able to independently control your speed and suction, so you're stimulating that letdown phase with your suction and speed controls. Turning the pump up really, really strong, trying to get all the milk out, which is what it sounds like she's doing, is probably causing bruising, which is not good. So there's quite a few things going on right there. It sounds like she's doing okay. The babies are being fed, but she needs to take care of herself too. No leaking, thank goodness. That stuff is liquid gold. Yeah, Amanda, it is liquid gold. And, there are ways to, did you know that when because one of the times that I used to leak was when I would breastfeed. I don't know, that's, your body, what we were just talking about before a second ago, was the idea of a letdown, right? So what happens during a letdown is there's stimulation to the breast, and then the oxytocin is released from your brain, which then contracts the ducts in your breast so that milk ejects out. They call that the milk ejection reflex, or letdown, in more easier terms. But what happens is, so you're breastfeeding on one side, and then do you notice the other side starts to leak? Two things. One is, it's a perfect time to actually pump the other side. And as you get better at nursing your baby, I used to breastfeed on one breast and then put my pump on the other side, kind of make it easier to pump some extra milk out. The other thing you could do, I don't know if you've noticed this, but when you press in on the nipples, the nipples compressed in, it stops leaking. That's how products like lily pads, where you're actually compressing the nipple in, that actually stops the leaking during feeding. So if you do find yourself leaking a lot while you breastfeed, what I used to do is just breastfeed and then kind of hold my hand up against my breast to stop the leaking, so that I first wouldn't waste the milk, and two, so that I could not have a big wet spot on on my clothes. But those were the times when I would leak. Normally I wouldn't leak, but usually when I breastfed, I would. Let's see if there's any questions that we can answer that are coming in right now. Okay, so, all right, let's see. So Alicia's asking, my son is almost 1. He's been nursing less during the day, but at night, he is up to nurse at least 4 to 6 times a night. It's exhausting. Why does he do this? He doesn't even nurse more. He doesn't even nurse that much during the day. Let's see, during the day. Okay, so a 1-year-old, okay, babies nurse not just to eat, but for comfort and soothing because they want to be close to you. They love to just be with you. So depending on, especially if you're co-sleeping with your baby, getting up several times during the night, that's very possible. And you'll probably notice that those feedings aren't very long, just a few minutes and then back to sleep. But it gets into kind of a routine. I would probably guess that it is not for a lot of extra eating, unless the baby's not really nursing a lot during the day, busy, by 1-year-old, you are co-sleeping. Okay. So by 1-year-old, sometimes they're like very distracted and they're doing a lot and they may not be nursing as much and they're saving all their feeding for during the night. And co-sleeping and breastfeeding is going to go really hand in hand. So I would say that that's very typical, that they're going to want to wake and they're going to want to roll over and go right to you as soon as they do. People ask all the time, is it possible to get my baby to stop eating during the night when I'm co-sleeping? It's not that easy to do, really, because the baby's right there with you. One of the benefits of co-sleeping is that the baby's right there with you. So if the baby is waking up, you really don't have to wake up much. You just kind of roll over and let the baby nurse. So that's a benefit. But on the other hand, co-sleeping is also going to encourage more night waking in my experience. So that does happen. Not necessarily a bad thing unless you're really not getting any sleep. Typically it's a quick feeding. I don't know, Alicia, is it quick? Does he go back to sleep right after? Like, is it fast, a few minutes and then back to sleep? Because that's what's happening. It's those sleep cycles, baby's waking up and then wanting to, he knows you're right there. That's what it is. He knows you're right there. Yeah, kind of hard to stop that at this age and also while you're together, co-sleeping. I would say that, even feeding him more during the day is not really going to change that either. Because sometimes people think, well, I'll just, a few minutes and then back to sleep. It's not really food. It's more comfort. It's more soothing. It's his routine. He gets in, he wakes up, we wake up during the night a little bit and then wakes up, but the thing that's getting him to go back to sleep is nursing. And, it's really hard to get them to, just stop that when you're right there. Let's see another question here. I'm scrolling back here. Okay. This one came from Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer. Jennifer is 36 and she has a 6-month-old and she is breastfeeding and pumping and she does not want to stop. However, we do want to try to have more children soon rather than later. Last time it took them over 2 years from the birth of her daughter to get pregnant. Any tips to keep breastfeeding and encourage the return of her fertility? Good question, Jennifer. Really good question. First of all, for many moms, and a lot of you out there will know this, for many moms, it's totally easy to keep. Some people can get pregnant while they're nursing, and some of you know that very firsthand, are either pregnant or have been told you couldn't get pregnant and then you did. For a lot of other moms who are breastfeeding, they won't ovulate, and so it can delay pregnancy. And I would say that's the majority of people that we see, is that it makes it harder to get pregnant while you're nursing, although you can. If you're exclusively nursing in those first 6 months, if you're not feeding any formula, if you're not feeding any food, if you haven't gotten your period back again, the chances are that it'll be harder for you to get pregnant. But if you if you are getting your period again, or if you're supplementing, it may make it easier. Now, back to Jennifer's question, which is she's 36 and she wants to have another baby. It took her a while. My answer to that is yes, the sooner that you can start trying, the better, because it's going to help to increase your chances of fertility the earlier that you have your children. But at the same time, you don't want to give up breastfeeding on your first. You don't want to stop just to start trying again. So I would recommend, waiting another 6 months. Obviously, waiting another 6 months, continuing to breastfeed the baby for at least 1 year before you even think about stopping. So, 6 more months probably won't make that much more of a difference. And it could make your pregnancy could come faster this time than for the first time. You don't know that it's going to be the same. But I would say, try to conceive right now, but don't stop breastfeeding. I would give that first baby at least that minimum of 1 year. And on top of that, as much as it is important to think about your age, for everyone to think about your age, to think about how many children you want to have. Many people do get pregnant after that age. And, child spacing too is important. So having one baby so close to the next, studies have shown that the second pregnancy can suffer from that too. So I would say that I would just start trying and then not really worry about it or start thinking about what to do next until your first one is at least a year old, and give that first baby everything you got. I hope that answers your question. Let's see. I'm scrolling up and down here, so bear with me. Okay. All right. So, Haya just asked a question. How do I know my 12-month-old is eating enough food during the day? She's nursing less, but not eating real food. So when you say nursing less, the question I guess I have right there is it that you that you're feeding less frequently, Haya, or is it that the baby eats for a shorter amount of time at the feedings? Because one of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to breastfeeding is that you think that the feedings need to stay long, that the short feedings, those 5, 6, 7 minute feedings, that the baby's not getting enough. And I'll get that question all the time, that, oh my God, the baby's not eating enough. The baby's only eating for 5 minutes and then comes off. That's because they get really efficient. So the feedings do get shorter as the babies get older. It doesn't mean that they're eating less. It just means that they eat faster. Okay, so you just answered, right? That's what I love about live. This live is awesome. Okay, so less frequently. It could be that the baby is getting the baby could be getting enough feedings, once they become really efficient, like we were just talking about, so they eat faster. They might also be able to get more milk out when they do breastfeed, so they don't need as many feedings as they did in the beginning. The answer to your question is, do you have to be concerned? Is the baby eating at least 4 or 5 times in a 24-hour period? That's my question to you, because this really has to do with breast capacity, how much milk that you're making at a feeding. If you're getting at least 4 or 5 feedings in a 24-hour period, and your baby is gaining weight, and your baby is peeing, pooping, doesn't seem hungry, yes, including nights, I wouldn't worry about it at all. No, not at all. It's very hard to determine if it's enough milk just from the time or the frequency or the number of feedings. You're really looking at other things, like you're looking at your child. Makes sense, right? You're looking at what's coming out. You're looking at, are they hydrated? So are they peeing? Are they pooping? Are they growing? Are they reaching their milestones? All those things are going to tell you way more than how long the baby's eating or how frequently. So I think you're fine. I think you're fine. Sounds like you're fine. Okay. All right. How much food does she really supposed to eat, because she only plays with? How old is the baby? Let me go back to your first question. She's 12 months old. Everybody thinks that children, they can start solid foods. Breastfed babies can start solid foods as early as 6 months, but they really don't have to. I mean, the most of their nutrition really can just come from breastfeeding. And, we've all talked about this before about, that eating food before one, just for fun. You've heard that. What they mean by that is that they don't really have to eat a lot of food. I would just keep offering. One of the things that I think I discussed this on a previous show was when we talk about children sometimes require you to offer them that food, a particular food, 5-6 times before they actually accept it. And this is part of their DNA. It's part of them, rejecting. So you offer them food, they reject it, they play with it, they're not that interested. And then all of a sudden they take it. So just keep trying, whether it's different foods that you're offering or just food in general. She's obviously getting what she needs from the breast milk, because if she was hungry, I think she would eat more. But just keep giving it to her. A lot of this has to do with just continuing to offer the foods, get her used to it, make it fun, make it interesting, let her eat what you're eating, let her watch you eating. And you don't really have to worry too much about it. I would say that if the baby's breastfeeding fine, she's already getting all the nutrition. Just keep going. Okay. I think you're amazing too, Michelle. Thank you. All right. Awesome. Let's keep going here. Let's see. Well, we will answer a few more. You guys loving this? Okay, we want to do this. We can do this as a regular thing. Typically I'm doing it as with a friend, with Jamie or with Natalie or somebody coming on, but we could just turn the camera on and do some questions and answers. I'm thinking maybe we could just do this as like a weekly thing, and that way when you guys post your questions, I can get to them, and we can just hang together. And I love this. All right. Yes. Yay. Okay, so one more question, and then I have to go do some stuff. All right, let's see here. Okay. Chelsea. Okay, hi Chelsea. So Chelsea's 2-week-old falls asleep a few seconds after he starts breastfeeding. He still sucks and seems to be getting milk. What to Expect book says to start with one, then switch to the other, but it's more important to, hold on, I'm reading as we're doing this, more important to drain the first than it is to make it to the second. So I try the second when he's done, but he won't take it most of the time. Pediatrician says start with one, then switch after a minute or two. Okay. All right. So a 2-week-old that falls asleep, first of all, the information you're getting both from the book and also from your pediatrician, both are the reason why you feel confused, okay? Here's the simple answer to your question. Right now, you are making more milk than your 2-week-old is needing to drink. And that's why feeding on one side, the baby sucks for a little while, then falls asleep and doesn't want the other side. Yeah, because there's way more in that first side than the baby actually even needs. A 2-week-old is probably eating maybe 2 ounces at a feeding, okay? That's not a lot of milk. If you see it in a bottle, it's only about that much. And so you probably don't need to switch sides. This idea of, the pediatrician telling you to start on one side, nurse for 2 minutes, and then switch to the other side, definitely don't do that. That's gonna only make things more difficult. You can alternate breaths so that one feeding you're feeding on one side, and then the second feeding you're feeding on the next feeding you feed on the other side. Just keep track and switch back and forth. And you don't need to feed on both sides. In fact, what'll happen is you'll follow the pediatrician's advice to switch sides, and then the baby will wind up getting a lot of foremilk, which is that watery milk that initially comes out when you're very engorged, and then you'll have a weight gain issue, and then they'll say, oh, your baby's not getting enough weight. So what I would recommend to you is, and the advice from the book as far as draining the first side, you're not going to drain the first side. So none of it is accurate. What you're going to do is feed the baby on one side, Listen for swallows. Feel your breast before the feeding. Feel how full it feels. And then after you're done feeding, feel how full it feels then. So you know that milk went into the baby. Listen for the swallowing while the baby's eating. And if the baby seems satisfied coming off the breast and the baby's peeing 6 to 8 wet diapers in a 24-hour period and gaining weight, I would not even think about it. And just alternate breasts until the baby gets a little bit bigger and you start to see that you need both breasts to be able to breastfeed. You don't need to use both breasts at the feeding, especially in those first couple of weeks. So hopefully that helps. Amanda said, at least there's still a fireplace. Yeah, I actually have 2 fireplaces, one in my office and one in my family room. So we're going to have to pick a spot. I think I'm going to actually do it in my family room. I'll give you a little bit of a view of my office here. Let's see. So if you can see, I'm going to turn around. I have awesome windows. This is what I totally wanted. I wanted to have a place where I could have light, because working from home makes it so difficult, especially in New Jersey where in the wintertime it's snowing all the time and I'm stuck in the house, and so I need light. So I'm going to show you, I've got some awesome windows here. You see that? Okay, so I got windows and I got nice tall ceilings. So I don't know if you can hear me here, but that's a big fireplace there, okay? And then I've got a fireplace in my family room, so I can do that with Jamie. And I think we're going to do it in there because we got a nice, comfortable couch for us to sit on. And I am hoping that he's going to be able to make it. He's here in New York for the month, and hopefully he's going to, thank you, hopefully he's going to be able to make it out, or I might have to go see him. He's in a play this month, so I want to go see him in a play anyway, so I might go. We'll see what happens. Let's see. I'm glad that was reassuring for you. Awesome. Yeah, you're doing great. All right. So I think that I'm going to finish up for today. I actually have to go buy something. I have to go to the store, and it's getting late, and then I'm going to be sitting in traffic because it is Friday. So I think I'm going to sign out for today. And but this was good. Look how many questions we got through, and I'm so glad you guys were there. Did you guys get a notification when I went on live? Just trying to figure this out because I'm doing this through the new app, which is the Mentions app. So I wasn't sure if it actually came through. Is it telling you that I went live? Did it give you an announcement? And if it didn't, yeah, oh, good. You got a notification. Awesome. Okay, good. And if you didn't get a notification, I think there's a way that when I sign off, you can ask to get notified. Oh, you set it to notify you. Okay. So is this something new? Like, were you getting notified before, or is this new now? Because I think now I'm going to be able to have, it's just no announcement. Okay, so when I sign off, look to see if there's a button that says subscribe or notify me. And then that way, if you push the button, when I go live, you're going to get a notification, and that way you won't miss the Q&As or whatever else I'm going to be doing. Tonight I'm going to do a little giveaway, so stay tuned. I'm going to have something to give away, a little hint. Something that goes on your skin. Okay, so tonight, check out my Facebook page, and I will have a little giveaway for some awesome stuff for the weekend. Okay, and yeah, make sure that, yeah, oh, there's a subscribe button. Okay, yeah, definitely hit the subscribe button. Okay, I love you guys, and I'm so happy for this technology that we can do this, and we will continue. All right, so have an awesome weekend, and I will see you guys soon. Mwah. Love you guys. See you later.